Come Scrapbook with me while I talk about Vocaloids, Azuki, and Matcha. Now, I ran a poll on Twitter to see which Vocaloids I wanted to cover next, and Azuki and Matcha won, so let's go. Azuki and Matcha are two Japanese Vocaloids developed and released by Yamaha, in collaboration with Sega. Yup, that's Sega. Azuki is the pink one, and Matcha is the green one. Their full names are Masaoka Azuki and Kobayashi Matcha. Azuki and Matcha were initially private Vocaloids. Private Vocaloids were a thing in the Vocaloid 3 era specifically. They were Vocaloids made by companies or individuals or groups with licensing from Yamaha without the intent to sell these voice banks. And the way Sega used Azuki and Matcha was in their 575 video game series. In 2013, Azuki and Matcha debuted on an iOS game called Utayomi 575. It was a free-to-play rhythm game that later was called Utayomi, but then was discontinued in 2014. The next time Azuki and Matcha would appear would be in Utakumi 575, which was a game for the PS Vita released in 2014. So basically Sega had made and used these private Vocaloids for their rhythm games, specifically for Project 575. Now, Utakumi is interesting in that it's actually powered by Vocaloid. It was basically a light version of the Vocaloid 2 editor. Keeping in mind, at the time, it was the Vocaloid 3 era, but Utakumi 575 had a built-in Vocaloid 2 engine. You might be sitting here being like, so what? There's Vocaloid songs in Project Sakai. Yeah, but Project Sakai is not powered by the Vocaloid engine. Hatsune Miku was not singing live in the game, but Azuki and Matcha were. And people were able to hack into the game and get their voice banks. Yeah, these private Vocaloids got leaked. And generally speaking, leaks in Vocaloid is extremely rare, especially from the East. So, unfortunately, Azuki and Matcha became the poster children for piracy! Because Azuki and Matcha were made for a light version of the Vocaloid 2 editor, even when ported into the V3 editor, they didn't really sound that good. Because they were private Vocaloids, not intended to be good quality, right? But they were preserved, and that's a good thing. Okay, so Azuki and Matcha are like the mascots of Project 575, right? There's actually two other girls in this series named Kome and Yuzu. Neither of them have their own Vocaloid voice banks. In 2014, Sega dropped an anime for 575. They're about 5 minutes long, and they are available on YouTube. We're gonna flash forward to the Vocaloid 4 era, because in July of 2017, Azuki and Matcha got a public release on the Vocaloid 4 engine. The V4 era was kind of full of bizarre surprises, like the return of Tone Rion on Vocaloid 4. No one expected Azuki and Matcha to have a public release ever, especially when their reputation was as piracy Vocaloids. Their V4 voice banks are much better quality. They are smoother and cleaner. A lot of people really liked that. Some people didn't really like that because they sound pretty different from their Vocaloid 2 voice banks. It can also be kind of hard to find any content with their Vocaloid 4 voice banks because their cracked V2 voice banks have been out for so long. You can buy them together or individually. They are download only, and I had to makeshift my own box at the library for an hour, but that's where they currently are in Vocaloid. Vocaloid!